One of you in my comments section with the initials KK wanted to know a little bit more in detail about my experience with Retin-A. So I thought I would just go over the important things. Like I said in the previous video, I've been using Retin-A since I was about 22 years old. And I'm 37 years old currently. So I'll just say that, when you first start on a Retin-A path, the biggest piece of advice I would have is to be patient, actually. And I know that sounds boring, but that's actually my biggest piece of advice, is to be patient. And I say that because during the first week or so, at least for me, I'll just speak for myself, I didn't notice anything. It takes a while to notice the side effects. And so within 2 and 3 subsequent weeks, the skin on the face starts to get very, very dry, and it flakes and scales. At least it did for me, and my cheeks were very red, I remember. And also, particularly around the mucous membranes, so around the corners of my nose and around the mouth, the corners of the eyes, I remember it being very uncomfortable and very dry and very tight feeling. And at some points, it was so tight feeling that the skin would crack, and I needed to put Vaseline on it to kind of buffer the discomfort. So that all happens within the first month or 2, depending on your skin. And it then starts to calm down a little bit as the skin naturally acclimates to the product. And I should say, I started out actually, I was using a Retin-A product, and then I switched to a product called Tazorac, which is a similar product to Retin-A, but it's not exactly the same. It's actually harsher than Retin-A. So I used that for a period of time, and that caused much more irritation. But I discontinued use of that product because it was so harsh, and I went back to a Retin-A product. I began using a product called Renova, which at the time, I don't know if it still is, but it was produced by Neutrogena, I believe. But anyway, Renova is, you can Google it, it's a kind of gentler form of retinol. So I liked that product. I used that for a couple of years, actually, with great results. But, Retin-A, you can do your own research. Retin-A has substantial scientific, I believe it's one of the only, or if it's the only skincare, so-called anti-aging product that's actually proven to work, in that it delays the onset of premature skin-related condition. I'll just say that. So, in other words, it preserves the skin very well, and it improves the tone, texture, and overall complexion of the skin. And it's been proven to do so. And so, when you use a product that is prescription strength, like Retin-A, you have to be, again, like in my experience, you have to be prepared to kind of stick out the bad side effects, the dryness, the redness, the peeling, the flaking, all of that, the sensitivity. For me, I didn't notice any real results until, I would say, realistically, about 16 weeks in. I started to see some improvement in my skin. Prior to that, it's all side effects. For me, it was all side effects and none of the good stuff, so to speak. For me, it took a while, like 3-4 months, until I got kind of situated in my routine and my skin started to calm down, and I really started to notice the clearing effect. And then within about a calendar year, I really started to notice that my skin completely changed. My complexion was smooth and flawless, actually, and just to put it bluntly. And that like I said, happened about a year in. And so that did it for me. I was hooked, and I thought, well, I'm just going to continue using this for the rest of my life because this product is amazing. And that's what I've done so far. I haven't stopped using it because it works for me and it's simple. And I don't have to have a 15 product skincare routine. I can just have a simple moisturizer, sunscreen, which is very important. When you're using Retin-A, you must use sun protection because the cell turnover is so accelerated such that every morning you're exfoliating a layer of your skin effectively. So you're exposing that brand new raw virgin skin, and you need to protect it from ultraviolet radiation. Even if you're indoors, you have to protect the skin because your skin on Retin-A is more sensitive for sure than untreated skin because, like I said, it's constantly sloughing off, which is great, but you have to protect it accordingly. So yeah, I don't know what else to say really. I mean, the last piece of advice I would say is that when you're in the phase of where the skin is flaking and it's dry and all of that, for me, I didn't even attempt to like put makeup on or anything like that. I just wore sunscreen and called it a day, and usually put a hat on too, to really shield the elements from damaging my, new skin layer. That's what you want to do. That's very, very important. You don't want to undo or prevent. You don't want to undo the benefit you're getting from this product. So it would be not advisable to go through all of this and then not protect your skin and not treat your skin with kid gloves, so to speak, because not only will you not be reaping the benefits of the product, but you'll actually be doing more damage to your skin because, again, like your skin on Retin-A is more vulnerable to the elements than if it's not treated. So I guess the last piece of advice I would say is that every time I get a new tube, and once again I use a generic form of what is the name brand of this product is Atrilin gel, Tretinoin gel 0.05%. I use a generic form, but this product, interestingly, is manufactured by Valiant Pharmaceuticals, and Valiant is also the same company that produces my favorite moisturizer and other skincare products that I use on a daily basis, CeraVe. So I just thought it was interesting that it's the same pharmaceutical company that produces this and Atrilin, and its generic form, which is what I use. So I just kind of noticed that. But yeah, you wanna write down. At least I do. I always write down the time, the date that I open a new tube, just so I can see how long one tube lasts. And I also usually keep the box itself of the prescription, the box, because just in case I forget or I want to know when I filled the prescription, it's helpful. It's just helpful to know these things. So typically 145-gram tube, which is this size that I use, you can see I'm currently, I have quite a bit left. You use such a little amount. I have this much left, and I opened this last December. So it's going to last me probably into the early spring, because I can just tell based on past experience how long it will last, because the amount used is so little. But let's see, what else can I tell you? I think that's about it. If there's a specific question, this person just said, oh, can you go into more detail? So, I don't know if there's a specific question. You can ask me in the comments and I will reply back to your comment, of course. But yeah, I would just say, I know it's a boring answer, but the biggest thing that you need to do, at least mentally, to prepare yourself for starting this product is to be prepared to be patient. because I've even known people who have started out treatment with this product and then they've discontinued too early. Because it's so uncomfortable in the beginning. Of course, individual results will vary, but for most people, it's quite uncomfortable in the beginning. And especially for me, when I started this, I was in a time where I liked wearing makeup every day, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't wear makeup for weeks. And so that was a bummer, honestly. So you just have to kind of weigh the pros and cons. For me, it's worth it. Oh, and one other thing, the cost. So I pay out of pocket for this. My insurance doesn't cover it, but yeah, it's expensive, but in my opinion, the return on investment is worth it, well worth it. And it's also worth it because this is like my big gun of my skincare regimen. So this is what I focus on, is efficacy. So if one single product can produce optimal results, like the ultimate results for me, and it does, and it has, then the $200 some, every 14 months, every 16 months to pay for this is definitely well worth it, because were I to buy drugstore products that are $30 or $40 every couple of months, that adds up as well. And I don't do that because I choose to use prescription strength retinol on my face. So yeah, I would say, again, leave a comment, a question, if you have a very specific question, and I will do my best to answer it with the knowledge that I have. But I hope that was helpful for you, KK, who asked, and I will see you in my next one. Thank you for watching.